Welcome to the KINJAZ Podcast. Here we will discuss dance, life, and whatever the we want.
Folks, welcome back to KINJAZ Movement in the Shadows. We are your hosts, Ben
and Anthony.
And we have a very special guest in the pod today. We have fitness model, celebrity trainer, and coach. He's worked with folks such as J-Lo, The Game, Prince Royce. He is a life enthusiast and motivational speaker and athlete. We got Brandon Schram in the pod.
That was quite the introduction, sir.
Thank
that
you,
was
man.
quite the introduction. I appreciate that.
I try.
You make me sound a lot cooler than I probably am.
Hey, you are probably way cooler than I even know. That's why we wanted to bring you in, man.
You look pretty cool, man.
I appreciate that.
So we met via social media. I've been following your stuff for a while now, and then you did a fitness challenge. You did a 30-day fitness challenge. Was that in 2020?
Yeah,
it was like the holiday. As soon as COVID hit,
I started.
And then that kicked my butt. And one thing that your content's very crazy. You do some real superhero type stuff. And as we were talking a little bit before we started rolling, you're talking about how you kind of get inspired by things like dance and kind of just explosive dynamic movement. And then you obviously pair that with just your physical abilities, man. So that was the first thing that caught my eye was the craziness of your content. But when I did the fitness challenge, I loved how you engage with your community, from the IG lives and things like that. And then I just started learning. I was like, dude, I think this guy is way more than just a trainer athlete, dude. You put out just motivational, inspirational, just thoughts and things like that. So I was like, I just need to get to, know this guy deeper, man. So this is kind of our first time really kind of hanging out, man. So just appreciate you coming through.
Yeah, and Ben loves fitness stuff. This fool all day, every day, is just he's been working out every day for since he was 6 months old or some shit. He just loves it, which means he tries a bunch of different things. He's always on different types of diets, different types of gym styles, working with a different type of person online. But I do remember that time frame during the pandemic when he was doing your 30-day challenge, and he was going ham skis. And when he said something really he's excited about it, I'm like, holy crap, this is really crazy. Me, I'm super lazy, so I don't go as him, but he was talking you up, so I'm really, really also honored and happy to have you here, man.
I appreciate them. No one was born with this God-given physique like yours, bro. So you know what I mean? It's just, not everyone can have that, bro. Not everyone can just chill like that.
But dude, we always like to start with origin stories. So if you can kind of give us your story, where you grew up and the whole thing.
Yeah, so straight out of 661, Palmdale, California. I was actually born in Burbank, so I've always I've always been around the valley. I've always been around here. I went to elementary school in La Crescenta.
Okay,
it was private school. My parents were commuters from Palmdale, so it was easier for them to drop us off down here and pick us up on the way home in case of emergencies, whatever. We're not that far away. And it wasn't until, I was a soccer player my whole life, just on my athlete thing. And I was so stuck and driven just in that lane and in that sense that it not necessarily, it has to take over your life, and you have to be completely obsessed with it to be good at it, to be great at it, right? Yeah. In order to continue to push and progress and move to that next level and move to, playing at a collegiate level and a professional level, right? And through high school, it was, hanging out with different groups of friends and this and that. And at this time, I had never even been in a gym or touched a weight. This was a thing that just happened. But getting into college, I went to AVC and Low Valley College, and I decided, let me just take a year or two at a community. Let me play locally. Let me play here, PCC Pasadena, and see what offers I would get from that, because I didn't have the offers from the schools that I wanted. I had a full ride to Las Vegas. I had a full ride to South Carolina, and neither were schools that I wanted to go to. Las Vegas, I was like, hell no. And then South Carolina, I just wanted to play in front of my family, and that was always my goal and my dream, And I had friends that were already at UCLA playing, at SDSU, schools like that. And I'm like, if they can do it, I could do it,
Yeah.
And of course, I get into ABC, and they cut the men's soccer program the year that I got there because there was no funding for it. So I had a year to just do whatever I wanted, because it was the first time ever that I wasn't restricted to training schedules and staying on point, really working out, you know what I mean? Really sticking to my fitness. And in hindsight, that should have been the year that I was going the hardest in really focusing on myself and where I wanted my career to go in that. And it went completely opposite, bro. I just started partying and kicking it and just, you know, smoking, drinking, doing whatever was up there.
You went to college. Yeah.
Exactly. I was in college.
You did the college thing. Yeah.
Did the college thing, and it was in one sense freeing to get away from the restriction that I felt before, but at the same time, just my environment and watching things around me and seeing things happening, and it was just a lot of shitty things, bro. One of my friends OD'd on Oxycontin. That was the first thing. I had another friend that was he was stabbed at a party for no apparent reason, really, and ended up dying that night, you know. And it was going through situations like that started to like give me a sense of what my environment really was and what I was tapped into and what I wasn't tapped into, right? And I'm like, if I continue to go this route, if I continue kicking it with these are people that to me aren't really going anywhere because nobody's trying to do anything progressive anyway. And that's what the trap of a place like Palmdale or the middle of nowhere is. You know what I mean? You don't have the big city anywhere near you. So it's like, you almost just feel stuck, and some people accept it, you know. And at that point, I was like, bro, this is not it. I got to get out of here. And that's it. And so that summer, it was the summer of maybe 08 or 09. I cut everybody off, and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to just go to the gym because I have nothing else to do with my day. I go to work, I go to school, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to just work out just to tap into my athleticism again because I was out of soccer and I was 2 years out now at that point, and I figured, you know, it'll take me a minute to get back into it. And so tapping into the gym, it was that thing, that release of like, I'm sure when you guys dance, if you haven't danced in a while or just doing something new athletically or some type of movement that you're like, oh, this is dope. And this is, you know, it feels good and it feels right. Yeah. And I feel good doing it, you know, and it gave me something to look forward to, but also a sense of being able to work on myself in a different way, right? I can work on myself physically, which then started forcing me to tap into my mentality of like, okay, I need to like now start really working on how I think and how I think about myself and my surroundings and how I feel and this and that. So it was just, we can jump to, I went to Csun. I was at school. I went to, I started working at a headhunting firm or a headhunting agency for law firms when I got out of Csun. So that was my original like career path, and I wanted to work in.
What did you study at Csun?
I got business management with a minor in law.
Okay.
So I had like that little law tie, and just met the right people, and I got tied into this business, and it was cool in the beginning, but at the same time, like, bro, I'm Asian and I was clean shaven. I look like I'm 12 years old. So I'm trying to tell lawyers and other people that have been in law for just as long as I've been alive what they need to do with their careers. And so it was really difficult for me in that industry to really make strides and progress. And so my ultimate goal was to move out and do entertainment headhunting. And so they were going to break off and do an entertainment portion outside of the law, and that would have been my lane. I was like, forget it, bro. Like at that time I started working out. I was down here at the Sherman Oaks Galleria.
Yep.
And people there just asking me, like, what have you been doing? You know, what have you been taking? Like, how you're like making progress. You're big, you're ripped. What's going on, you know? And it was from that I was like, maybe I should charge this dude just to work out with me and see what happens, you know? And so I was like, yo, $30, like you can show up at the same time I show up. I see you all the time anyway. But the thing is, like, we can tap into the same thing. We can get the same work and this and that. And without knowing, that was the conception of what all of this was and where my life was going to go. You know, it was like, I can make a little bit of side money, like, because I'm going to go to the gym anyway, and you're going to be here anyway. So why not? And I got a couple people like that. And from doing that, it gave me a little more confidence to like, okay, I can train people. And at this time, like, I didn't have a certification. I didn't have anything. I was just like, I'm ripped right now, so maybe I'll get you ripped too.
That's called certification.
That's certified. You know,
I trip out when I see a trainer and they're not hella ripped, and I'm like, what are you training?
This is not certified. So like, it was. That was the conception of where my life would go, and it's just interesting looking back now that it was that I started posting on Instagram, and I'm like, let me just start posting videos of me doing workouts and me doing just different styles of workouts to give people something new or to do something different with this piece of equipment, because the gym that I was going to at the Galleria was always packed. And so I would have to force myself to be creative of like, okay, cool, if that's taken, how can I mimic that movement with something else? You know, and that was the origin of what my Instagram was. It's like different types of movement that you can do with different pieces of equipment that you might not have originally thought of that can still be effective. And it's just went from that. I started training people. I quit my job and I was like, I'm gonna take my savings from this and I'm gonna try it. And just the ups and downs of like, bro, being super broke and being way behind on a lot of things, and like legitimately like 3-4 months behind on my car payment and almost having my car taken away, you know, like not being able to pay my rent. Luckily my landlord was my aunt at the time, and she was like, you're lucky I believe in you. She's like, you're lucky you're ripped. Exactly. And she just like, you're lucky I believe in you to, you know, an extent. So at some point I think you're gonna figure it out. And I did, bro, and things started to click and Instagram started to go, and it was around, I had like 20,000 followers, and I get a message from, at the time it was J-Lo's boyfriend. He was like, yo, I want to do some of this stuff. I want to look like that. And I'm like, cool. And so I went to go the next day to go work out with him. And he was like, tomorrow morning, I need you at Jen's house. And I'm like, oh, shit.
Before we get there, which boyfriend is this?
Casper.
Okay.
It was Casper at the time.
Casper. Okay. And then second, I'm still caught up on the fact that you said you're Asian. I was like, holy shit, what kind of Asian?
I'm Indonesian.
You're Indonesian.
Yeah.
You're like that Hollywood ambiguous Asian that could play a lot of roles, including Hispanic.
You know what? Yeah. So I was just sent out on a casting, and my manager was like, yeah, they're looking for like just Mexicans, and that's it. So Spanish speaking Mexicans. Do you speak Spanish? And I was like, I speak enough to get away with it. And if I need to do a video taping, cool, I can bang it out. Yeah. And so she sent out all actual Hispanics and me, and I was the only one that got picked. And I'm like, so annoying, bro. And so I get sent out for Asian roles, and I never get picked because they're like, you don't look Asian enough.
Yeah, you don't look, you know, like Oriental. You know what I mean? You're not playing a guy named like Singh. You know?
Exactly. Are you half?
Yeah. So my mom is white, blonde hair, blue eyes.
Got it.
My dad is Dutch Indonesian. So my grandparents were Indonesian Chinese and Indonesian German.
Yeah.
So you're like a quarter Indonesian.
Technically, quarter Indonesian, some Chinese in there. Families back in Holland. I actually don't think left I have any family in Indonesia. Everybody's in Holland now. So it's like
that is a very eclectic gathering that has constructed you.
Right.
That's pretty dope.
Do you identify more with the Asian side versus, or you say I'm mixed?
I just mix. Yeah, it's all over the place, you know, and like I think culturally growing up too, I was just always tapped into even more of like the urban side of things, you know, the urban suburbs kid. That was like me growing up, you know. And so in Palmdale, like we had zero Asian community. There was like no Asians out there at all, you know. And so it was like tapped into really just the kids I was playing soccer with, because those are the closest kids to me, because they were the kids that I saw all the time. Yeah. You know, but yeah, it's something that I'm really looking forward to doing. And I'd spoken to a couple people in the pandemic out in the Philippines, Indonesia. It's a guy out there that runs all the Anytime Fitnesses. And I did a little bit of advising on what their online platform would look like for COVID, because they wanted to retain all of the memberships, but you need to give something to be able to retain that and be able to give value for people to be paying, right? Yeah. Yeah, and so he runs all of those, all through the Philippines, all through Indonesia, all through Taiwan. And it's not until like recently that I'm like, I really need to tap into like the Indonesian community, because one, it's another one of those countries that are regressed in terms of what we have, what's available, supplements.
And yet they're like the third biggest population in the world or something, right?
Huge.
It's crazy like that.
Yeah. And so it's like, in terms of market, you know, it's a great market to tap into. But also just to, try to do what I'm doing here, but there, you know, like bring some motivation. Maybe the kid that somehow has a phone but doesn't have shoes, bro, walking around the streets and sees a video and can say like, I can do that. I kind of look like that dude. I can do that. You know what I mean? Might need to do some push-ups to get here, but like, it's all good. Yeah. But like, I want to do that for that community as well, you know, and it's, like now become kind of my goal and my dream to really tap into that in the international side of things.
Was there I mean, I know you said, you know, you had witnessed like, you know, friends getting stabbed at parties, and you know, you had a moment where you feel like this is not it and I gotta make a change. Was there like a pivotal person in your life? Was there somebody that was kind of the mentor figure to kind of like, you know, steer you out of that? Or was that just something that you just did yourself?
Yeah, it was. I really didn't have a mentor, you know. Unlike my dad. My dad was great. He was, he's been a great father my whole life. But in terms of what I wanted to do with my life and where I wanted to go and what I was into, you know, and I feel like as a teenager, like you get to like that early 20 stage where you just don't talk to your parents the same as you used to. It's just different. You're becoming your own person now, and there are things that like not necessarily uncomfortable to speak with them about, but like this is kind of my life now, you know, and I didn't have a mentor in that type of sense to give me any type of like motivation or steer me in any directions. It was more of just me knowing like this is not what I want for my life, and I know that, bro, there's a much bigger world than what Palmdale is, and I know I'm not gonna find myself stuck here, bro. So like I need to do whatever I can do to get out, and knowing that if I just like dead everybody and focus on myself, it was just one of those things that like it will pay off in the end, absolutely. And so no, it's interesting. And even now I have a lot of people that will ask like, who are your mentors now? You know, who do you look for inspiration? And I don't really have.
You're like the mirror at the gym.
No. Right? The man in the mirror. But I like to listen to other people's stories. I like to listen to other people's advice and what they say, and I take it all in and break that down. But I like to go through things myself, and I like to try things out and figure things out myself. You know, so when I'm really going through things, yeah, external type of advice can help at times, but for me, I feel like I've always just been like an internal working person where I'm like, let me figure this out for me. Let me try to work through this for myself. You know, let me try to find out what it is that serves me in this moment, in this purpose. What is this teaching me? What is it not? What do I need to let go from it? You know, and so it's interesting. I don't necessarily even today have a mentor that steered me in whatever direction, whether it's been fitness wise or like the mental health stuff or the motivation stuff. It's kind of all just been like, let me just do what I want to do and try to figure it out for myself, you know?
Yeah.
I want to get back into the story part. So you got hit up. Now you're on the way to Jen's house. Right?
Now I'm on the way to Jen's house.
Yeah.
And to think like, I've never worked with a celebrity before, you know, and I had maybe an unnecessary sense of just like confidence at the time. I'm like, yeah, you know, like slightly nervous, of course, but like I was confident, and I knew like I know how to work, and I know how to work people, and like that's it. This is gonna be cool. Yeah, and I worked. Get to Jen's, cool as hell. Like she slaps on some DMX and she's ready to go, bro. Turns the heater on in the room and it's like it's action, and she's about it. And like legitimately the busiest person that I've ever met in my life. To where she's like in a board meeting, runs out, comes, does the workout for an hour, gets done, walks straight into another meeting, or walks straight into whatever she has to do, or go to a fitting, or go to whatever it was, you know. And so it was cool to almost just get like that back end, behind the scenes type life sense of what these people go through, you know. And it's tough, and for you to be able to manage a family in the way that she does, and manage her health and fitness, and then manage her work side and her career and all that, it's impressive, bro. And it was like I had a newfound respect for her as an individual, but the artists that are really working like that, you know. And so from her, I worked with her up until she did her Vegas show. So I got her ready all through like her tour, and then got her ready for a Vegas show. And then through her, I got Prince Royce, and Casper was doing the creative directing on Royce's show. And so he was like, I need you to meet this kid. I'm like, cool. Who is he? He was like, his name is Prince Royce. And I was like, never heard of him. Don't know what it is. And I went to go meet him, and it was funny because I think naturally he's introverted. And we went to go work out, and I think the first workout, he didn't say one word. And I'm like, this is interesting, you know? But like the kid's working, so whatever, it is what it is. And I ended up going on tour with him that year with Ariana Grande.
Dope.
So it was dope. So just to see that too, you know, that, all the background life of all the dancers. I was training a bunch of the dancers on the tour.
Oh,
but
maybe you know Jozar.
Yeah, Jozar?
Yeah, he's in our crew.
Oh, is he? Yeah, I know
KINJAZ.
Jozar. I mean, all of the dancers that were with her through the honeymoon tour.
Yeah.
At least that tour. All those dudes.
Who else was on Ariana during that time? Do you remember?
Well, Mal was on there too. Right?
Oh, Mal was doing it too?
Yeah.
Matt. Matt, Jozar, clearly the twins. There was, God, who else did she have? The Puerto Rican kid. He dances with a bunch of different artists. Chris Rivera.
Okay.
He was on there. Yeah, she had some nasty dancers on there. Yeah, it's some killers on there, bro. But that was cool, and that was an eye-opening experience as well. And then through that, I mean, traveling with Royce in that way, he and I just became best friends. And so since that, we've been like brothers, you know. So it's now going on, I mean, close to a decade of just being tight, bro. It was cool.
Yeah,
it was
cool. Amazing.
Yeah, and so
you're talking about like the career shift. I mean, you kind of took a chance on like, yeah, I guess I'm a trainer. You down to pay me? And someone said yes, but then like I think there's a big difference of like looking the part, but then actually becoming like an expert in not just the physical side, but even like the health side, from diet, nutrition, mindset, and all that. So did you kind of like hone in and like kind of do your homework in that, in like the holistic health kind of way too?
Yeah, so absolutely. And I'm like big on just like research in general. So like I'll find something, I'll see a commercial or something and be like, what is that, bro? I never heard of that. And I'll end up finding myself in hours of research on like becoming an expert on some shit I just saw on TV because it's just interesting to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like that. And when I dive in, I'm like way in. So it was one looking the part. And I knew at that point, like, I'm my own billboard. So even going to like Runyon Canyon, bro, I could be walking around Runyon Canyon, and there was people that I was pulling as clients from Runyon Canyon just because of the way that I looked, you know, and people like, I want to look like that. Cool. Here's my business cards. Perfect.
Damn. You be running Canyon with business cards?
Bro.
That's a hustle.
I was ready. I was going there legitimately just to walk around with my shirt off and try to get clients.
That's what's up.
So
you might as well tattoo your like on this. It's my IG and stuff.
Get a little scan code right here.
QR code.
Yeah. And so it was the things that I was trying everything in order to, one, get the client, but also I was doing my research on the back end. And so I got my certifications and training. I dove way into, I was never technically a certified nutritionist, but I've done all of the research you can possibly do as a nutritionist, and tried everything for myself, right? So I've gone like on vegan binges, right? And see what happens. I've done intermittent fasting and see what happens. I've done the keto shit and see what happens. All of these different things.
Did you do the carnivore diet?
I didn't do the carnivore diet, bro. Just liver and
that looks crazy. Just super raw
and
food.
arrows and everything.
Just putting like heart in like a Ziploc and just pulling it out,
Just
and eating
chomping
it.
up. Yeah, through a little squeeze bag. And the dude's like sleeping on the floor with no blankets and like no radiation in the room. I'm just like, I don't know.
It's wild.
It's wild. It's good for you, you know. Maybe I'll try it for like a week and we'll see what happens. But like I like to try things like that because one, I want to know how does it affect me. And granted, biologically, we're all very different. You know, and so the thing that works for me is not necessarily the thing that's going to work for you or you, but I want to know for myself, like, did that work for me? And then what was the process of that working for me, if it did or not?
Is your mentality with a lot of things, even outside of like fitness and just like learning in general, very like trial and error? You just like need to experience it regardless of what you hear from people?
Yeah, I have to. And so, I mean, say content creation, right? So I'm not a camera expert at the moment, but like, through trial and error of like, oh, I'm going to film this and film this and film this. It's like my videos, like you can go back even 3 years from now and look at what a video was versus a video that I would post today. And it's night and day, the difference the difference in just quality and you know what I mean? Angles and movement, learning how to shoot and this and that, and like understanding the back end of that. So it's when I find interest in it, it's like, I'm excited again, you know, and I want to be great at it. And so that's like always been, luckily, something that I've had is like when I'm really, really into it, I want to be great at it and I want to be very good at it. I want to be like respected at it, you know, or just respect myself in the sense of I'm like, fuck, I made that, you know, like that's always been like a mindset, like aspect of mine.
So out of curiosity, out of all the things that you have tried, nutrition wise, diet wise, or whatever, like what have you found to be like the most effective method for you to maintain peak performance or whatever it is that you're going for?
It's legitimately just consistency. So you can do, what we have to remember is like, we're not quitters, humans, right? But we do have like road bumps and like speed bumps and blockages and stops and things that we can't do that like mess processes up. And so a lot of these diets, these fad diets, or they're lifestyle diets for a lot of people that just stick to it. But like, say you're doing intermittent fasting, you know, you can be pretty consistent with intermittent fasting for say a week, right? But once you start going to brunch with your homies one day, you know, it messes up that whole cycle and it throws your body off because your body's so used to this process. And there's instances where you can shock your body in that way and it ends up being beneficial, like cheat meals, right? Those work for sure. But in terms of like the process like that, where you have to be consistent in something, they will all probably work, but you have to stick to it consistently.
Yeah, because you're like changing your body's like metabolism and it needs like register over a period of time, right, and adapt to it.
Yeah, and so you go keto and you have no carbs, which is just that to me is crazy. You know, carbs is an essential nutrient for us, and a lot of people, I'm sure, will be like, no, it's not. You can get it with fat, you can get it with this, but like if we have carbs at our disposal with sweet potatoes and you know other good carbs, even beans, lentils, fibers, and things like that you can technically use as carbs. Why wouldn't you use those things, in my opinion?
Yeah, where does animal style fries fall into that?
Bro, I legitimately last night. I'm not.
Yeah, you had it last night. See, you can eat that and still be ripped, man.
Bro,
I got hope.
It's right across the street. It's like a Monday night tradition. I have soccer games on Monday nights, and like on the way home because everything else is closed, there's an In-N-Out across the street. It's always In-N-Out Monday night.
So what is like
repetition, dude?
The most
exactly.
Like I know you said that everybody's different, right? Everybody's body chemistry is different, but is there like a most like recommended way of being consistent? You know,
me and Ben trying to be ripped.
Yeah,
dog.
I'm trying to be at Runyon
Canyon trying to get clients. You know what I mean?
Just handing out business cards.
Yeah,
other shit. Yeah, I'm ripped, but this is for nothing. Here you go. Hit me. It's like it just whole food diets, right? Whether you go vegan or not, I know a lot of people that will go vegan. For me, I'm not vegan or vegetarian. I still prefer to eat my protein as meat. And everybody has their own opinions on that, and they make their own choices on what it is. But it's just whole food diets of actual food, bro. You know, you get your vegetables, you get your protein, whatever way you get your protein, you get good carbs in, you get good fat from avocados, and you can eat peanuts and stuff like that, your yogurts and things, all of those. But as long as you keep it within this realm of these healthier foods and you stick to it, there will be a change regardless of what it is, whether you're losing weight or whether you legitimately are healing something inside of your body that you might not know you'd be healing and changing. Yeah, because food itself, food and water is our best healing product. And that's it. And it starts inside and starts working its way out. And you see with people with like bad skin, right? They'll go to the doctor and the doctor will ask them, how much water are you drinking? What are you eating? Maybe you're allergic to this, that. Maybe you have certain foods that change hormones in your body. And it will all dial back to your second brain is your gut, you know? And so the cleaner you can keep that, legitimately, to me, the better you'll live, the better you'll feel, the better you can move, the better equipped you are to just handle certain situations.
Do you drink alcohol?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, okay, so that's like
my Monday night is just all fucked. It's like
everything's Monday.
It's just I just go in on Monday and that's it, because it's like it's soccer night, so we're there. We have pre-game margarita. We play the game. We have post-game margarita. We got in and out of the way home.
Like
so it's like
margarita before a soccer game. I'll throw up,
bro. Like it just like loosens you up to where you just don't. I think I'm Ronaldo, bro. When I have a margarita in me, so it's like that's it. You know, I feel like I play in my mind a little bit better, which is probably not true, but at least to me,
like
as long as it feels good.
We take a shot before we session, and I feel like I'm killing it a little bit harder.
Exactly.
We take 5 shots, I feel like Ronaldo, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, I mean, I ask stuff like that because I know people, like, I listen to a lot of health podcasts and stuff too. They're like, yeah, if you're trying to reach your certain goals, you gotta talk about consistency, but like they're like, like alcohol will affect it, and your sugars and all that kind of stuff. So I was just seeing if you have a little bit of that still worked into your lifestyle where you can still maintain what you're trying to do.
Yeah. I mean? So also for me, in terms of like the physical aspect and the way that I look, is like I'm here. Granted, there are like certain times that I might want to make a little bit of a change. Maybe I feel like I want to get a little bit bigger. Maybe I want to be a little more ripped. And then in those times, I'm like, cool, I'm dialed in. But it really comes down to what is it exactly that you want and how fast do you want it? Do you want it as fast as possible? If it is, then your sugar intake needs to be on point. It needs to be not too high, not too low, bro. The alcohol probably shouldn't be there. Like all of these things, you should be getting a good night's sleep every night. You need to like legitimately dedicate yourself to this thing in order to achieve that goal in that time. If it's just a lifestyle, like maintenance consistency thing, then it's a little bit easier. You know that like, cool, if I mess up today, I can, do a little bit more work tomorrow. I know I can be on point tomorrow. I can fix that. And you keep that consistent, you keep that maintenance going at least. But when it's like, when you really, really want to make a change like that, or like a big change, you got to be on point.
What's like your daily routine like, from the moment you wake up to the moment you like go to bed? Are you a early riser, early to bed kind of person, or like what's your daily routine like?
Yeah, so I got a mini bull terrier puppy who just ruined my life, bro.
I know that.
He's just like taking over my entire life. But in a way, there's good and bad aspects to it. He destroys all my shit, but he keeps me on point in terms of like he wakes up at 7 a.m. And I know it, and so I have to be up at 7 a.m. or else he's like banging in his little cage. And like, yeah, I got to get him out. So from that, like I wake up because of him. And first thing, I'll usually either make a coffee. I have just like an espresso machine that I'll just do that with a little bit of oat milk. Or I'll just go nothing in the morning. It is what it is. And my breakfast is usually, I'll make like a little burrito of like ground chicken, ground turkey with eggs, and avocado, just to get like my fats started in the day and get myself like going in that way.
What do you mean get your fat started for the day?
So fat is like a
you gotta assume I know shit, by the way. So like,
got you. So fat's a super essential nutrient that I think a lot of us look past, right? And I think it's gotten a bad connotation because fat is associated with cheese and fat is associated with shit like that. Your mac and cheeses and your fried foods and this and that has a ton of fat and saturated fats, but your good fats, your avocados, I'm
familiar with like the good and bad fats, but like why in the morning?
So for me, I feel like it gives me the energy that I need when I work out. And so you can use, your body is going to use one of two. It's going to use the carbs or it's going to use the fats for the energy. So whichever one of those you have more of, it's going to take and it'll use that to give you the power through your workout, right? And so I have found that for me, usually like I'll eat avocado toast before I go work out. Or I'll eat legitimately sometimes I'll go eat a donut, bro. On the way I'll get a maple bar, Kay's donut, little Asian lady in there. She gives me a compliment every time I walk in. It makes me feel really good. And I get my maple bar and I get out and I'm down. I'm like juiced on my way to the gym. I pump it out,
That's cool. But you going to get a maple bar on the way to the gym?
It's a donut pump, bro.
Yeah,
Try
donut
it.
pump. Okay.
Try it. And so what that is
I'm suddenly inspired to hit the gym. I didn't know you could get a maple bar before you go.
No, so the way your body works is you need something for fuel, right, to push you through what this is.
Yeah. So you wouldn't recommend a fasted workout, like just going.
No, so I'll still do, like this morning I did fasted cardio, right? And so I don't ever do like fasted weightlifting, but I'll do like a fasted cardio, something like that, just to like get a sweat going on and just to burn calories in the morning. But I'm eating right afterwards, right? You have to like fill yourself with nutrients right after that. But the way that your body works is it needs something to give it fuel. And so simple sugars at that time are the best times that you can use them because it's a quick release simple sugar. So you have like your simple carbs and complex carbs. Just say white rice versus brown rice, right? Your white rice is a 1 molecule. It's a 1 glucose molecule. Your complex carb, the brown rice, is 3 different molecules. So it takes your body longer to break down the 3 molecules and then disperse through your bloodstream to give you that energy that you're looking for, of just the fuel that you're looking for, right? So you'll see like bodybuilders, they're eating like gummy bears when they're working out because it's legitimately just sugar, you know, and it gives you a little bit extra of a pump. It pumps your blood a little bit faster. So the faster that your blood is going to your muscle, the harder of a pump you're going to have, you know, the more you can tear your muscle in that sense because you have more power here. It's an interesting science behind like when you really get it dialed in, all these things. But yeah, I mean, just take the advice on the donut pump, bro. And just
bro, I'm all getting so many inspirations. You should see me at the next rehearsal with nothing but gummy bears and like strawberry straws and stuff.
It's like he's getting ripped, bro. What is he doing?
He's getting fat, man. What is wrong with him?
You know you got to work out on top of all.
I was like, dude, I heard this one podcast, and then suddenly I'm fat.
Yeah, and so it's that for a fuel, and then directly afterwards, the same thing. You can get a simple sugar like that. Like I legitimately used to put Pixie Sticks in my protein shakes because it has a simple sugar in it, right? It's a quick release simple sugar. So as soon as I drink my protein after my workout, the protein disperses faster because it uses the sugar as a vehicle to get to your muscles faster.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So there's like when you like really get it dialed in, there's a lot of little tips and tricks that you can do to like take you to that next level or just give you that little bit of an edge.
Cool. So we got morning, you eat your burrito, then you hit the gym right away. And then is there like, I'm sure you're working on your like, you know, content, things like that. Is that like,
yeah? So I mean, every day's a little bit different. My gym time, actually, I prefer it around like 11 a.m. if possible, because I've had enough time to have like food digest. I waited a little bit. I'm not tired anymore. My body's not tired anymore. So if I like want like an optimum workout for myself, I know it's going to be around like 11 a.m. If I go too early to go try lift, thing is like naturally my body is just not used to moving that way at that time, so it's not necessarily as effective for me unless it's like a 1-dayer, you know, where I'm like, all right, cool, this is the only time that I have, I got to get it in right now, then I can, and it's a mentality thing. But if I have to start working out at that time, like I've had clients that I'll work out with at like 8 a.m. and I can feel that like this is not nearly as effective as it would be if I was working out around like 11, 12 o'clock because I just don't have, you know, everything digested the way that it needs to yet in order to have the power that I usually am used to, you know. And so these are also like mind games you play with yourself. Yeah. Right. Like maybe I'm just a weak ass bitch, and I'm like, you know what I mean? And I'm blaming it on the food. I don't know what it is, but ultimately I know that that's my time. So like I'll wake up, and then in that gap I have emails that I'll answer first thing in the morning, go through all my emails, take care of the dog, walk the dog, feed the dog, all that. But just planning in terms of, okay, if there's content that I'm going to film today, what is it going to be? Do I have clients? If I have a client in the morning, then I'll go handle the clients and this and that. But that's usually what my morning looks like until I go work out. Workout is, I try to like really dedicate myself to a good hour 15 of like me doing my shit. And then if I can get content done while I'm there, I'll do some content there as well. And it's interesting. It takes away from the workout sometimes, knowing that like, okay, my career path and the way that it's built is media based, you know? And so it's, if I'm not filming and giving, you know, what I'm doing, then it's like, there are revenue streams that stop. We
totally understand.
You know? And so like, this is part of it that I know and I accept and I understand that I have to do. But there are also times that I'm like, damn, bro, like I wish I could just come in here and like just do my thing and not care. Also not care about wearing a certain outfit because I got to post for this or doing, you know what I mean? I want to just like come in bummy, bro, with a sweatshirt on and like, just like, you know, but it is what it is. I can't complain, man. If I can wake up and go work out and like, you know, inspire some people in the daytime, like how bad could that possibly, what would I have to complain about, you know?
Are you in the gym every day, or is it like how many days a week are you in the gym?
Yeah, daily.
So you work out every day?
Something. Yeah. So like if I'm not in the gym, I'll be a Runyon Canyon, bro. Handing out business cards.
Got it. Is there like meditation practices, anything like that you do?
Yeah, so I try to dedicate, I mean, at least like 3 times a week, I'll wake up and do fasted cardio. And I built myself a workout studio in my place just to not have an excuse to not do it, you know? And so I'll bang out the treadmill, or I'll bang out some type of cardio, and I have a sauna in there, and I'll sit in the sauna, and that's usually my time to like just like sit, reflect. And I mean, just, you know, who do I want to be? What is it that I want to accomplish? And I'll go through phases of what that meditation looks like in terms of like the short term of like, what do I want my day to look like? How do I want to feel today? What is it that I want to accomplish? Also this week, technically, what do I want to accomplish? Also, what do I want my life to be as a whole? You know, what are the things that I know that I need to work on? What are the things that like I should be doing and not doing? And it's usually like 3 different stages of like in a meditation for me that I tap into in terms of trying to like get now, get in a little bit, get later, you know, to try to like speak the existence and speak things into existence and fruition from now all the way up until the big picture happens.
Yeah. I definitely well, in the 30-day challenge, I love how you started each morning with like setting an intention for yourself.
Yeah.
And so
that was the best part of those things.
Yeah,
legit.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved that part. And but yeah, I guess what I'm, you know, curious like how you have developed like this mental strength, because discipline comes from your mentality, right? Like yeah, how like what are some of the things that have like either influenced how you are able to have that mental fortitude to stay motivated and to not have to look to a mentor to inspire you? Like, how does this all happen within yourself?
Yeah, I think it taps back into just the athletic side as a kid of the consistency and dedication of what it was to be an athlete at that time. And like we were a great team with a great trainer with everything. We were a promised team with a lot of promised players, and we just made a lot of bad decisions when we stopped playing. But beyond that, my dad was in the Air Force. So even coming out, there are things that watching him do that I found myself gravitating towards it. He's very consistent with a lot of things. It's like Sunday was like clean day, grass day, no questions asked. You know what I mean? Saturday was like wake up, do this, do that, right? And so he's up at the same exact time every day. You know, he goes to sleep at the same exact time every day. So I like watching
that definitely
those.
Had to rub off, right?
Yeah. So watching stuff
from.
like that, I'm like, even if I didn't realize it as a child, I think as I was growing up, I start to respect it, and you start to understand like, oh, so this is how you start to like get shit done, you know, and you make a plan for yourself and you stick to a plan. And he's like that dude. It's like, okay, this is what I'm going to do on this day, and it's done, you know? And so I think that's another aspect of like why I've been able to be diligent in whatever I was working in. But in terms of like just, I mean, belief, bro, that's all. I mean, my mom always like, yo, I love you. I believe you can do whatever you want. You know, you have these external factors, but like that ultimately has to come from you and you alone, of knowing and having the confidence in yourself to be able to be like, I can do that. I can be that. I can accomplish that. No problem. You know, and it's going to take work and understanding the work that it does take, and then diving into it. And then you start to realize like, oh, this is work to make this happen, you know? And I'm sure you guys, the consistency that you guys have to have, I mean, from ABDC, from me seeing you guys on ABDC and that long ago to now we're having a conversation how many years later, you know, and you guys are still doing it, right? So you guys too would understand like the discipline and the mentality that you would need in order to stay in the game, but grow with the game, you know? And so for me, it's always been just me in my head and working with myself on like, bro, I just won't play myself, bro. And I know like, I'm not going to downplay myself. I won't doubt myself anymore in anything. And granted, we all will have those thoughts at times, but it's the counter thought that changes that, right? Do you have the capability to give yourself that counter thought to be like, bro, no, that wasn't trash. That thing that I just did, it's great. Fuck it. Like, let's keep moving. That was a learning experience that I did, you know? This was You know, it might not be great, but it's going to be great later. Just things like that. And I feel like, yeah, those are all things that ultimately have to come from you at the end, bro. So it's just been, I mean, those external factors, but ultimately me just not wanting myself to lose, bro.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. I love how you put growing with the game. I think that's something that, like, you know, we're talking about evolution, right? You know, we start somewhere and then we just progress. And it's all about sort of staying consistent with who you are and keeping that at the core, but being okay, and not even just being okay, but like actually searching for the next thing that kind of comes natural in like your growth.
Mhm.
So for like yourself, you know, having, you know, being a trainer to being somebody who really has built a career around like health and fitness, is there something that you feel like is kind of on the horizon as like you're moving into something else from here?
Yeah, so I've been in front of the camera so much, and that was all just like we said, trial and error of me trying to do things, and then me trying to speak and like sounding like an idiot when I first did it, to like now I don't have a problem with it, or at least I don't think so, or maybe that's my confidence. But I want to do behind the scenes type stuff, you know. And so we had, I mean, for Motivated Fit, I don't know if you did Motivated Fit, but with Motivated Fit, we had the #1 watched fitness ad in all of 2019.
Sick.
And so from there, me and my business partner were like, okay, we got something, and we can build something on the back end, whether it's me in front of the camera and maybe we do a really good job of me selling myself, or we were good at marketing, you know. And so right now it's been, even working with my manager, um, finding different lanes to do back end marketing and back end branding and back ends of growing all of these new brands and making them something that maybe they don't have a vision for. Because like at the core of it, I'm a creative, you know, and I want to always do something new and something different and push my limits in terms of whether it's videography or whatever it's ideas or whether it's ads or things like that, you know. And so I want to be on that back end side of like building brands and new companies and things like that, and then watching them grow and flourish in the world and turn into things that maybe their owners didn't even know that they were going to be, you know. And so I feel like that's one of the lanes that I'm going into when it in the fitness game. I mean, I'm still gonna be here. I'm still gonna be doing this. I have now like Be Motivated coaches, and we do nutrition plans and workout plans for people, and they call and they check up on them, and it's all like a full customized process and like almost like a fitness concierge of sorts, right?
Oh.
We got that. We have Motivated Fit is still going, and that's just the at-home plan. I'm working on what can I do? How do I now do what I was doing with the holiday challenges now, though, because that was so essential in terms of what people had available, right, and what people needed at that time. And I saw it, and I was like, let me tap into this. And it was, I knew it was going to be a way monetarily to make money, but at the same time I was only charging $5 to get into it. So that was a conversation I had to have with myself of like, do I want more people to work on and work with and tap into and try to make changes on, or do I want more money? You know, what is it going to be? And there was always a donation box on the $5 thing. $5 to get into the group, and then $25 to do the challenge, and the winner would get $1,500. And there was always a donation box, and sure enough, like going through, you'd find like $400 donation, $500 donation. Here's a couple $100, and these are people that they got it, you know. So, and they feel like this is what's worth it, and this and that. So cool, you know. And I was grateful for that, but it was great to be able to then tap into the masses of people that I knew probably weren't working, didn't have any other sources of income. So like, how can I still be effective, but also hold them accountable, right? So the $20 is something, at least for somebody with no money. I mean, I can remember the times where I'm like, okay, I got $40 in my bank account. At that time, I would never spend $20 on a workout challenge. But there were some people in there that were like, I have no money and I spent $20 on this. And like, and it helped them in so many different ways because of the intention and the mindset portions, but also just getting up and having something to do every day.
Totally.
You know, and I feel like that's where a lot of people fell off in COVID is you had to reinvent, and you had to like grow with the game at that point. and you had to stay consistent. I think it was most difficult because people are in the comfort of their own home and they don't have anything to do. And I feel like when you have too much time, it can be your worst enemy, bro.
Oh,
it can be
sure.
destructive.
Yeah.
You know, when I have a full schedule of 10 things to do, I can somehow fit an 11th thing in there, you know, but when I have a completely open day, I'm like, cool, I got 3 things done today, you know, when I could have done so much more. And it's just
COVID hella worked for me. That was like when I got the most fit. I was like,
yeah.
just being stuck in a little ass downtown apartment. We were in downtown at the time.
Yeah.
And when you just can't like walk around and you have like very little real estate, I feel like being able to like look forward to waking up and being like, I got one physical thing to do today.
Anything, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just that's all the whole thing. And then after that, I'm totally excused for either, you know what I mean, video games, movies, binging shows, and a little bit of emails. Other than that, I was like, I got my one physical, because we couldn't really dance during COVID.
Yeah.
And that was weird. It was weird. I remember just the very beginning of it. It was really weird to adapt to like not being able to do that. And then substituting the moving around portion for just working out. And then I never thought I'd get into like a routine where I like work out every day, but only during COVID did I do that. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Now like the hustle's back on. Now I'm just like lazy again.
Well, it's people's lifestyle, bro.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not always for everybody. Not everything is for everybody. And I think that's where, I mean, a lot of people get confused is everybody thinks that what I got should be for you too, you know? And like, there are things out there that can be for everybody, but realistically looking at it, whether you are a trainer or a workout person, or you have a product or something, not everything is for everybody, you know? And it's like knowing and accepting that. And the thing is, you know, bro, this it ain't you. But you dance and you still get physical work.
But now I just heard about the maple donut thing, so you don't
it's
know.
A little bit different. The game has been changed.
That's a little more
the
me.
The game has been changed.
So for like yourself, I mean, I feel like there is no shortage of motivation for you, but I mean, you're human. Like, you know, not everybody wants to kill it 100% of the time. So how do you deal with those times when you don't feel like you want to move as hard or hustle as hard? Like, how do you snap out of those times?
So that all just becomes mental tricks at that point, you know, and it's me knowing that I have to stay consistent regardless of how I feel, because things happen in people's lives that you can't change the way you feel about them, right? Say you were like dating somebody, you're no longer with them, or you broke up, right? Because you feel a certain way, you are going to have to work through that at some point, you know? And so I've always been someone that like, okay, if these are the things that I got to do, I'm going to do them regardless of how I feel. And it might not be as good as it should be, but I'm still doing it. And that's it, you know? And it's the consistency and that discipline that will change your life and help you work through whatever it is, whether it's stress, whether I'm unmotivated, whether I feel lazy, my body feels lazy, and me knowing, let me still go and let me do something so that, you know, I can check that off my list and as something that I'd continue to do. And looking back at those things, I think if you're somebody that jots those things down, you keep tracks and logs of the work that you do, which like I advise everybody to do that's trying to grow. You can look back and see like, dog, I was going through the worst of things, and this is probably that time that really helped build that foundation to now the progressive part of your life. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, no, I'm clearly not always motivated, or I don't always have energy or anything like that, but I will always be consistent. And that's just me telling myself, like, I want to be the best at things, you know? And I like in my mind will be like, how can you be the best if you aren't doing what you're supposed to do? Like, you say that you want these things, but you're not doing it. So what are you doing? You know? And so it's those mental tricks that I'll play with myself into helping me realize, like, I was gifted, bro, with a healthy body, you know what I mean? And I should take advantage of every possible thing that I can be doing with it. And it's because I feel lazy today, and knowing that this is my goal and this is one step closer to my goal, why wouldn't I be doing these things? You know? And so that's what it is. It's staying disciplined regardless of how I feel about a certain situation.
Out of like, obviously you've been able to take something, you know, very personal, which is like, you know, your motivation, your determination and work ethic, and then you turned it into like a hustle, you know what I mean? Was able to like make like both a name for yourself and a business stuff out of like all of the hustle through the years, whether it like changed because of this or that. What were like some of your favorite parts of the hustle? You know what I mean? Like the things that you do with your business now, and maybe also some of like the least favorite things.
Yeah. So, I mean, least favorite does go back. I mean, there's a lot of things working with there are a lot of people that I had to work with in order to pay a bill in the beginning of it, right? Yeah. So this is what I chose, and this is how I'm going to make money, and it's working with people because I know that they were going to make me money at the time, right? So now my mentality is completely different. I would never do something like that. I would only work with people that like vibe is synergistic and everything feels right and is right, and like it's not just a goal thing for me anymore. You know what I mean? So at that point, I had different goals that I needed to achieve. So I think that's why my mind was where it was. And so I'm working with some people that are just horrible to work with, bro. And it's just like,
you mean like clients? You mean like partners?
Oh, clients. No, clients. And so going into it already with like a sense of like, this is gonna suck, you know? And it's like, I don't like feeling like that. And that's a feeling of remembering what it felt like going into a meeting with a lawyer back in the day of the job that I quit. Like, this is gonna suck because like he's not gonna trust me at all. Then I need to bring my partner. Then there goes my commission. Then you know what I mean? Things like that. And so that's what that was. And as soon as I could, I mean, there was times that then I would just cut people off. But like as soon as I could get away from that and like realize that it's not even money is worth certain things at certain times, you know. And granted, it was the one thing that I needed at the time in order to just pay bills, but it's not worth like the energy sometimes, bro. It's not worth a lot of different things. And it was that moment of like, these are the things that you got to do to get to where you want to go, and it's whatever. But I mean, that granted, like for me too, just like the grueling side of it, bro, working on the days that I don't want to work and doing, you know, in the beginning of it, of training 6 people in a day and then being like, cool, now I got to go work out. Where is my energy, you know, doing that side of it. Good and bad. Some days suck, some days they feel good, you know, but yeah, I would say there was quite a few people along the road that I'm just like, yo, yeah. I'm like, what,
we all got to pay our dues.
Exactly.
That way, you know?
Yeah, and you have to.
But what did it lead to? What's something that like, you know, from doing that, like out of today's hustle for you, you're like, this is why I did that. You know, it's one of my favorite parts of what I get to do.
Yeah. I mean, I travel the world with artists, bro. I get to meet a lot of really cool people that I would have never thought I would have been working with at some point, you know. And it's like that became my reality. Yeah. And then I was new in it when I met Jen and when I met Royce and things like that. And then from being around it so much, and then I had Game, I had all the Fifth Harmony girls, Normani. I did a few people with Dancing with the Stars, Val Shmerkovsky. He's a good friend of mine. I was working with him. There's a lot of different other music artists that I've worked with, and gotten them ready for things. And it's like my life looking back at it, or just from an outsider perspective, right? If I step outside of my body and I look at what I have and what I've done, like I'm super grateful, bro, because it's been cool as hell. Yeah. And it is, you meet a lot of really cool people. It opens up a lot of good doors. And the thing is, there are people out there that want to see other people grow and succeed, whether they're artists or entertainers or whatever. There's some people that they're focused on themselves and they just want to do their thing and that's it. But there are also other people that will be like, yo, I noticed that you got some shit going on, and like whatever you need, let me know and I'll help you out with, right? Or like if I can be a part of something you got going because I think it's cool personally, I want to be a part of it, you know? And so it's opened doors in that sense as well, of like investment opportunities to start companies with people that I know now. It's opened doors in terms of the network that they're connected to of other people that have, you know, companies that I've been interested in, or just have been tapped into worlds that I've always liked and enjoyed, that, you know, you almost need the plug to get into. And so it's opened up a ton of different doors for me. And yeah, man, I'm like truly, truly grateful for the way that my life has turned out up until this point. And I think I mean, it's only up to me to make it better and make it what I want. But like as this far, it's been pretty dope. It's been cool.
It's all brought you here to the KINJAZ podcast. Everything
You know what I'm saying?
worked out in this moment. The apex.
I'm at the pinnacle of
I mean, with that though, man, like you built yourself to be a business, you know, and like you're obviously growing and evolving into other spaces, and like, you know, it's all this sort of, we're all trying to get to this place where we're happy with the life that we've built for ourselves. So there's that concept of success that everybody wants to achieve, and of course success is a very like subjective word. What is success for you?
It's that, you know, I feel even in this moment, granted, I have a lot of things that I want to do in terms of the media stuff. I will always have like, I mean, dreams evolve, right? You start to like working with the artist at first is like, oh, that's a dream, you know, and then it became what my life was, and I'm like, okay, cool, now where do I go from here? What do I extend from here, and this and that? How do I now build businesses from what I've been able to build for myself? And dreams have slowly evolved over time, and I love the chase of it, you know, and I love the process of the building portion of making something happen, because I've done it multiple times now, you know, and understanding when you are in that stage of like, oh shit, I'm kind of on a roll with this thing, you know, so I know that this is going to start going whether I like it or not, you know, and it's like, now it's just the dedication, the work in this. And so for me, I mean, I look at myself as, I feel successful. I can wake up to my dog, bro, and I could not do anything that day because I don't want to. Mm-hmm. And still I have businesses making money online. I have, you know, things that are creating incomes for me and passive incomes with me not having to do anything at all. So in this moment, I feel great, you know, and I feel successful now. But yeah, there's always things that I want to continue to achieve, but to be able to wake up and do what I want with my day, you know, it's a different sort of feeling. Yeah. And that's what like really makes me feel good about what I'm doing, and it just creates that reassurance of, you know, I feel like I'm doing something right with my life.
Right.
Heck yeah, I mean, I really co-sign that dreams evolve, you know, line that you threw out. I love
sure.
That. I totally agree.
Yeah, they for sure do.
And I think even when you're talking about like just you've built systems in place where you have freedom to be like, I can take a day off, I can, you know, kind of go do my own thing, but it's because you've put in that work to make those systems in place that it gives you that freedom, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's been a decade of being in the gym every day, a decade of me legitimately filming all of my workouts and putting them online and doing that side of it, you know? It's the dedication behind like building these online businesses and finding the right partners and doing all of these different things, sitting and filming 12-hour days to film workout programs. It's things like that, you know, and understanding too, and maybe I'm just naive to some of these things that like in my mind, I see it as, I know that I can work for a few days, and that few days will turn into years of a revenue stream. I can film a workout program in a few days, and in that few days, I can make money for years.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I've been grateful to be able to build something like that. You know,
that is amazing. That is definitely, you know, and just to bounce off that conversationally, you know, like we're doing very similar things with our online dance, you know, KINJAZ Dojo for beginners, kinjazdojo.io, right? But I have to recognize that fitness, it really relates, or just like, you know, improving human performance through things like that. Like it really is a much broader and accessible and relatable kind of like market to a lot of people. Whereas, you know, sometimes we run into a little bit of the difficulties of, you know, the nuance of like dance, not only just like dance, not saying dance isn't huge, like it is, but like dance, and then wanting to train at it, and then wanting to train at it specifically in something like the street culture, and then specifically by like Asian people, you know what I'm saying? We're so like nuanced that sometimes you know, I do reflect on it, but that's more to say like recognizing and respecting both the game and understanding it, but also recognizing in the broader market, it's like, dude, fitness is an amazing place that like people are able to do that. So I can totally, you know, I sit here totally like humbled and impressed by like people that are capable of taking, you know, stuff like a couple days of video shoots and knowing that they can turn that into like years worth of you know, payback. That's a powerful product, you know, and you have to be powerful at it to actually have it, you know, sell. You know what I'm saying? So congrats, man.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And that goes back into, you know, it's putting in the work beforehand. So it's the 3 days of work that also took me 6 years to get to.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's not like it's not what it sounds like initially of like 3 days will pay you for years, but those years beforehand will lead you up to those 3 days that will pay you for years on top of that.
And just as much as it's a bigger market, that also means that there's like way more people that are doing that stuff. So for you to for you to stand out from the crowd and for people to even like sign up, that in and of itself is an accomplishment. You know what I mean? So that's amazing.
I'm sure with you guys too, you know, you go through the times and you try to figure out your identity, your true identity, and why people like you and stick with you, and you know, what is it about you that gravitates people towards, you know. And I have found that a lot of it does come from the mental aspect, you know, of things. That's for me, at least personally, you know, how do I tap into making someone feel a certain way, you know, because
do you ever feel like that throws you off as a content creator? And let me give you a specific, like, I can sometimes as an artist or a content creator find myself like, if I had no audience or fans, I'm still an artist. So if I were to create something, it would be very, you know, it would be me. Yeah. But when I have, you know, especially in today's world, people like really subscribing to something or liking something, so or being like, content. You start evolving yourself, or just kind of, it's a relationship, you know what I mean? And you have a relationship to your fans. And next thing you know, there are times where I find myself a little, it's a seesaw, you know what I mean? And sometimes I find myself kind of creating for the fans, and I lose a little bit of myself and I forget. And I always got to like almost kind of backtrack and stuff like that. Do you ever find those same things in like fitness? Or is that more of like I mean, feel free to elaborate.
No, absolutely. And so like I've gone through processes too of like, everyone can blame like Instagram algorithms and this for like engagement going down on certain pages and whatever. And so I have absolutely instances where I'm like, oh, this is popping because I like it, but it's trending, right? Like these like now videos, they're like quick 5-second videos of like motivational quotes, and it's just like quick visuals of things.
Totally, yeah.
And so I've been watching how it's been working on my page, and it's not, I'm giving it because it seems engaging on a lot of other people's pages. And for some reason, it's not accepted the same way on my page, because granted, I want to evolve and I want to give new shit, right? But the people coming to me are used to like, bro, I want to see like backflips and 360 push-ups. You know what I mean? I want to see cool new workouts that you're doing, you know? I don't want to like see you making a coffee in the morning. And it's like, I almost need that side of it for one, like brand deals in general, you know, and brand partnerships, of like the lifestyle aspect of it too, because I don't ever want to pigeonhole.
That's the marketing clip right there. We're gonna just snapshot that one.
Yeah, pause on that one. But I don't ever want to pigeonhole myself into a spot of just being a fitness head, you know? And so that's something that my manager is like opened my mind up to, is like, look at your page and what it is, right? If you didn't know you and you came and you looked at your page as a brand, what would you think? And I'm like, well, every single photo I have my shirt off, and like there's cool workouts in there, and there's like, you know, there's like motivation in there, and it's all tied in, but like maybe there is a different way that I can present these things, you know? I don't have to be in the grocery store with my shirt off picking up apples. You know what I'm saying? Like, because the one, it's that unrealistic. Does sound
engaging.
But it sells though, you know? But you know, but those are the things. Like, I know that when I do that, for some reason, the engagement is better on posts like that, right? Totally, so it's like, you seesaw back and forth between, okay, what do I give the people because I know it's going to be engaging, versus what do I deliver because one, it's one thing that I want to deliver. And two, it's something that I know for the bigger picture of me, myself as a brand is going to be more beneficial in the long run, you know? And so now it's like, now I have three different, it's a triangle of things of like, okay, for the brand, how do I now cater something to the brand, but it's still myself? Now, how do I still give the fitness people that? And then how do I give, you know, the fashion people this? And it's like, it's tough. And you go back and forth and like some things do good, some don't. Then you question things. And it's like, it ends up being a mind game in itself on like what it is. But at the end of the day, if you put it out and you liked it when you put it out, then whatever, bro. Forget how it did. You know what I mean? That's a great thing about Instagram is you can always post again, you know? You can always put something else out.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, dude, man, want to respect your time, but we like to wrap each episode up with a quick little lightning round. So I'm just going to fire off some questions at you. So here we go. Lightning in 3, 2, 1. What's the last thing that you ate?
Tacos. That was yesterday.
What is the last thing that you binged?
Probably Stranger Things.
Nice. What about your relationship status? What is it?
Taken.
Taken.
Yeah.
Taken.
Because Chad was curious, and I just wanted to make sure.
What is your guilty pleasure?
Oh, sweets, bro. Donut pumps.
Donut pumps. Favorite snack?
I just found these unreal coconut things at Costco, and they're like little almost Almond Joy things. Those are great. And also the Oreo ice cream sandwiches that they just came out with. You gotta check them out.
Damn, that sounds bomb.
Because the top of them now, because it's actual Oreo brand, so the top is a big Oreo. Because everyone's been faking it, and they've been doing like the ice cream sandwich tops, and they're soft. Yeah. But these are actual
it's like
Oreo.
the actual
a big
crunch.
Oreo.
Like a cookie.
It's a big Oreo.
Oh, dang, got the crunch.
Those are fire. And get a Choco Taco because apparently they're gonna get
I love
discontinued.
Choco Taco.
They're
That's
gonna
my
Discontinue, bro.
They're probably getting discontinued. Aren't they gonna like kill us or something? Don't they have like titanium in them or something?
They probably
like that?
do.
Choco Taco has titanium in it?
A bunch of things have titanium.
How you think I got this body, bro? I've been eating Choco Tacos.
This is
Wolverine, dude.
What is your least favorite workout day and why?
Cardio, because it is like so static. If I'm just like on a treadmill or something like that, yeah, for sure.
So, how much did you charge J-Lo?
A lot.
Good answer. Good.
It was
answer.
a lot. It was a lot.
That's fine. You never know. You got to throw out the Hail Mary questions.
Who's your favorite superhero and why?
Man, superheroes. Probably tapped into. I've always been an Iron Man fan, just because one, he wasn't a super dude to begin with, and made himself that way, you know, and in the cleverness of the character. And I think, I mean, it's different in terms of like
you don't give him a leg up because his dad was hella brilliant already and had hella money.
He
and
had
stuff.
hella money, so he did. He
like,
did have a leg up.
Born
but,
into genius and money. That's not.
I mean, at the same time, you know, he still had to still also be a genius himself. You know
you're
what I mean?
right. Yeah.
And it was, I think it's the cleverness of the character that Marvel built with Robert Downey that like I like, you know, and I like his character as that. So it's like if I was just reading comic books, it might be different. I don't know, but
agreed.
I think he brings that character to
Marvel
life
Cinematic
in
Universe,
a different way.
Iron Man killed it.
Yeah.
Most.
What is one workout that someone should never skip?
Damn.
Donut shop.
The donut pump. One workout someone should never skip of all of them, I would say, I mean, probably the cardio, the one thing I don't want to do.
Oh, so cardio is like crucial to.
I would think so.
Overall
In order to, I mean, there's so many different levels of cardio. You know, you can actually build muscle sprinting, right? Because it attacks your cardio in a different way. It's not necessarily just breaking down like muscle or like, you know, you're just burning calories. It's such a fast, quick movement that at that time, because of like what it does to your body, it ends up tightening and building your muscles and tearing your muscles versus breaking them down as a lot of cardio would do.
I hate the person who invented running. Like, why? You know what I mean? Why?
It's for survival, probably.
Really?
I mean, running away from lions.
Well, what if the lion wasn't running? You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
you had to run after.
Everybody just
running
walked
in
the whole
general,
time. Yeah,
everyone's
everybody,
just
yeah.
moving slow.
I mean, at some point you gotta like catch a chicken or something, bro. You know, you gotta.
But
like,
they're running too, you know. Or walking, they're walking easy.
What is one goal at the top of your list right now?
To start my YouTube channel.
You haven't started a YouTube channel yet?
No, and so tomorrow is my first filming day, legitimately.
Oh, dang.
So it's making the goal, and I just heard an audio that was like dedicated. It was like at me, and it was like, yo, if you were scheduled to go into work on a Monday at 9 a.m., you would be at work at 9 a.m. because that's what your schedule says. And he's like, but if on your schedule you were going to start a YouTube that same Monday at 9 a.m., but you skipped it, why don't you respect yourself enough to make that happen, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, wow, this asshole is like talking at me. You know what I mean? Because it's something that I know that I should have started a long time ago. But not to say that like I don't think anyone's really truly ready for certain things. Yeah. But like I now have zero excuses. Yeah. Like, bro, I have all the cameras, I have all the equipment, I built myself a gym for it. You know what I mean? So like everything is set in play that now maybe it wouldn't have been that before, but maybe there would be an audience now. Whatever, you know. I can't look back and say that things could have been different in a different way. Whatever. It's like I can start it now, and I can do my best at it now to turn it into something, you know. Yeah, for sure.
If you had to build a career off of anything other than fitness right now, what would it be?
Probably just like marketing, advertising. Because I know that I'm good at it. Mm-hmm. And so the creative side of like building ads and selling whatever it is that people want to sell. These are like, this is where I want to go initially in a direction too. And it's something that I know I'm good at, but also a different kind of test for me in a way that I'm like, I would be excited to take on. There are like certain things that I think would make people feel nervous about like going into, but there are also certain things that I'm like, I'm very excited to try and take on because I want it again, and I want to be good at it, you know, but yeah, probably that, just like marketing, advertising.
Dope. Makes sense. I love it.
What is your superpower?
Donut pumps.
We're going to get donuts after this for sure.
Absolutely. I think my superpower is being able to, in my own mind, turn whatever negative situation or negative thought or, you know, doubtful thought into something positive and back into self-belief and self-reassurance that, you know, I can do whatever it is that I am trying, and I can absolutely be great at whatever I want to do.
That's dope. What's your favorite quality about yourself?
That. Same thing.
Sick.
Same thing.
If you could prescribe something to the world for everyone to do once a day, what would that be?
Make a stranger smile, bro. If you can, to me, the happiest feeling is seeing somebody else genuinely happy because of something that you had done. You know what I mean? If you can do something for somebody else as small as that, I think it, one, changes that person's day, but also two, it gives you a different sense of it's beyond like a basic happiness when you see someone else genuinely happy, to me at least. And so for me, I would say that, make a stranger smile.
That's dope.
That's one of my favorite ansers on our entire
season.
I've
heard that one. That was
sick. We asked that question to a lot of people. Thanks. Everybody's answer is terrible. I was just kidding. I just really enjoyed that one.
Just crap on all of our past guests.
What are you talking about, man? That was Chad.
So Bruce Lee once said, I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times.
Yeah.
So the concept of focusing your energy on one skill and just putting in the hours over and over and over again until you sort of master that. What is something that you feel like you've mastered in your life?
I mean, I absolutely still have time to grow in it, but like, I feel like I have mastered certain movements of certain body control movements. Like for me to be able to do a push-up on a like trash can that you bring outside of your house that high, for me to be able to do like a 3-stack push-up on the picnic benches,
those are
things
wild.
like that. So granted, like I still have work at it, but I feel like I'm on the road to mastering what that is, you know, and being able to push a limit on that. And like, legitimately, I want to like do it right and get 5 on each side, do 10 tables, and do like a Guinness Book thing, film it the right way, and like bang that whole thing out, and then just have a record of like table push-ups for no reason.
Dude, I feel like
just because.
Isn't Guinness whack though? Don't you have to like pay?
Yeah, it's pretty whack, but like, you know what I mean?
But it's just the flex,
But
right?
you gotta do
record.
Yeah, you gotta.
It's the flex to have a record, bro. Like,
sure,
no, I have a
for
record
sure.
in Guinness, and the thing is, it's a difficult thing to accomplish in general. 2, it's just like, bro, who has the time to go get 10 picnic tables and stack them up? Like, bro, I haven't done it yet because of that. Like, it's just such a task.
Dang.
But I want to
sponsor
do
with
it.
one picnic table when that
That'd be
time
fire,
comes.
bro.
You know,
That'd be
Guinness
fire.
record. We just put stickers on one picnic table and just have that in there.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Hey, one
Well,
better
bro,
than none.
man, first of all, thank you for your time, dude, and thanks for coming through. And it's interesting, like, you know, even hearing you talk about like mastering something physical, but I feel like to me, as I hear you talk, you know, there's something clear to me that I feel like you are a master of, and I think it's just your mind. You know what I mean? Like, to have the ability to snap out of something, like, yeah, you were like, you know, you're an athlete, but then you kind of let yourself go, and then there was this switch that was just like, okay, I'm gonna turn it around, and then you just stayed that path, and then you turned yourself into a business, to you know, a motivational speaker. You got people following you that you know, look to your content for fitness stuff, but they also tap into your mindset. And like, I don't know, man, I just feel like there's so much that you've built for yourself, and it all just started, you know, with like your decision for yourself, that you set a standard for your life, that I feel like there's this sense of like, you just don't negotiate with yourself. You're just like, this is what I do, and I said I'm gonna do it, and there's no other way around it. And I just that's hard to come by, and I'm super inspired by people like yourself, and
Appreciate that.
just want to just acknowledge that, man.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And then like before we get off, always any like podcast or anything that I've done, I always just try to leave it with something inspirational for the people. And this, I'll say this for anybody that isn't where they want to be yet, right? We're all working for something, but if you are not where you want to be yet, because what is true power? It's knowledge, right? If you thought it was money, let me cut you a reality check. Because don't be that girl or dude that does more talk than do. Stay speaking big plans, but like sun rays to blackout shades, never come through. You know, so how would you expect to push that Rolls Royce up in your post if you're a phantom and taking action, your work ethic is ghost? You know, it doesn't work like that. And it only works if you work like that. And you can work like that. We have every tool right here in our brain, bro. Your mind is beautiful. It's a Picasso. So build it a strong frame, that strong mind frame, right? So if you're stuck, start at the beginning of the process, write it down and make it real. Manifest it and obsess it. You got to know that there's no way that you can't have it. You got to close your eyes and literally envision yourself, reach out and grab it. You know, you already got it. It's right here. So how bad do you want it? Right? So go get it. Go get it then.
Man.
Dropping bars on the pod right now. Let's go.
Yo,
Dude, that was sick.
Love
man.
that.
Thank you for blessing
I
us with that
appreciate
one.
it, man. I
That's
appreciate
dope.
it.
Well, where can people follow the journey, man? Plug all the things.
So Instagram is at b.motivated. Motivated is with an 8. I think if you just type MOT, it pops up because it's just confusing for a lot of people. But my YouTube will be starting tomorrow. By the time this airs, maybe I'll have an episode up. But that one's same thing is Be Motivated. The Facebook is Be Motivated. All of them are that, either with a dot or without a dot, depending on if the handle allows it. I got banned from Twitter because somebody hacked my account. I don't know what they were posting, but apparently it was inappropriate. So for everyone that followed my Twitter, I apologize because I don't know what it was, and I've been trying to get it back for like 2 months now. So
Hey, Twitter be banning a lot of people for some weird reason.
What's up, Elon?
but I don't know what it was. That's the worst part
yeah.
about it, is like they could have been out there posting some wild
sketchy
stuff, bro.
yeah.
That like.
It's just your past content that's not shot well. You get banned for it.
It's like, this sucks, bro.
But yeah, we'll plug all that. We'll plug all that in the show
I appreciate
notes.
it, you guys.
Yeah,
I appreciate the
absolutely.
time, man.
For sure.
Likewise.
Folks, thank you for tuning in to this episode. If you're finding this episode for the first time, We got a lot of other episodes before this with a lot of amazing guests like Brandon. So please subscribe, like us on your podcast app, leave us a 5-star rating, write us a review, share it, screenshot it, let us know that you're listening. We love to regram all that stuff. And we appreciate you guys stopping in and spending some time. Catch you on the next one.
A Kinja Bang.
Kinja Bang Bang.